Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Meet the Candidates. I'm David Thomas. Sitting across from me today is Mr. Nikia Elliott. Nikia is a candidate for Bedford County Sheriff. Nikia, thanks for sitting down to talk with us today and sharing your story with everybody.
Thanks for having me, David.
All right, sir. Let's just dive right in and get to it so you can tell everybody who you are. First, that's what I want you to do. Just tell everybody who you are, what your background is, of course, and what your current profession is. So I think everybody knows, but if they don't, you can tell them. And then your political affiliation, if you have any.
All right. Well, I'm a lifelong resident of Bedford County.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in the Normandy area. I worked for the sheriff's office. Of course, I grew up in a law enforcement family, so I kind of followed in my dad's and several other family members' footsteps, and went to work at the sheriff's office at 21 or 22 years old, and I just fell in love with it. I'm a Republican candidate in the sheriff's race coming up. I'm definitely a conservative. At the same time, I believe that the sheriff represents everybody in the county and serves everybody in the county. And I think as far as the sheriff's office, we deal with all walks of life, and and we aim to serve everybody in that role. I've got a wife, 2 kids. I've got a son that's becoming the 3rd generation law enforcement officer. He's in the academy right now. And I got another son that's at community high school right now. My wife works in the school system. She's been there for many years. She works in the SPED department, and I have a son with special needs. So that really that drives me, is making sure that the sheriff's office is able to serve that population of the county that I think really needs us the most.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next question. What has led you to this point at this time to seek election for sheriffs?
Well, when I first got into the sheriff's office, when I got into law enforcement, running for sheriff really was something that was never on my mind. I love the job, but I didn't know that, I love the excitement of the job. I like to be in the boots on the ground.
Right.
So running for sheriff really wasn't something I was considering. But as you grow in your career and as you move into different positions and you kind of see the bigger picture of things, you start to realize where you can really make the most difference, is sometimes behind the scenes a little bit more, honestly. So I decided several years ago that I would probably run for sheriff one day, but I didn't want to do it until I felt like I was the best candidate for the job. As long as there were other people out there that I thought had more experience and, had been around maybe a little bit longer, I felt comfortable working for them. And, but it came to a point in my career this time with Sheriff Swing retiring, that after 26 years at the sheriff's office, I felt like I am the best candidate, as far as my knowledge of the sheriff's office, and just I'm at a time now where I feel like my leadership skills are where they need to be to do something like this.
All right, next question. This is a little bit different than what some of the other candidates get, because sheriff is a little bit different job. So just looking at Bedford County and the challenges and maybe the opportunities that we have going forward, what do you see as our greatest challenge as far as law enforcement and what your department would have to deal with?
I think maybe honestly, there may be 2 here.
Sure.
Number one, I think everybody talks about the growth in Bedford County, and I'm the same way. I feel like this next maybe decade in Bedford County could be a huge transition, just with the amount of people that seem to be moving into this area. So I think the growth is definitely going to be a challenge that we're going to have to face, and dealing with that growth and being able to provide the same level of service as we get more people coming in here, without just tax to increase our services, because that's not the solution to everything. I think that's a challenge, but I also believe that we've been blessed here in Bedford County with our relationship with the public and law enforcement. But let's be honest, there's an element in the world, in the country, that does not want us to get along. That tries to drive that wedge in between law enforcement and the people. And our authority is given to us by the people. It only exists because the people say that it exists. It's just an agreement. And, once that trust erodes and all of a sudden that authority is taken away, then, it's not there anymore. Just because it's written on paper doesn't make doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So I think that, that's the biggest challenge, is making sure that the sheriff's office remains a community sheriff's office, so that we do maintain that trust, and people do believe in us, that we're going to serve their best interest, and that's who we stand for, not not some greater government force or whatever the case may be. So I think that's a challenge too, and I think that's a challenge in law enforcement in general, not just in Bedford County.
Right. Okay. What is your favorite thing about Bedford County?
Well, I actually did a video myself on this and thought about this, and I think it's got to be the people. It's got to be because this is where I was born, this is where I was raised, and there's just so many. All my role models were here in Bedford County. All the people that taught me things growing up here in Bedford County. My friends are here in Bedford County, so it's got to be the people. And when you talk about a county, it's not the land and the boundaries that are set. It's the community that makes up that place, and it's easily the people in Bedford County.
Yeah. Okay. So if you had a magic wand and you could just wave it, what would you change about Bedford County?
What would I change? I think right now, what I would change is maybe just kind of calm down some of the political noise that that's going on. I've always been amazed at how easy it is for us to look at a TV on the wall and let that TV influence us so easily. Let it override all of our previous experiences with the people that we've been around. So I really wish some of that would cool down, and we would forget some of this politics and just look at each other for what it is. We're on the same team. We live in the same community, and for the most part, we got the same goals. We just may have some different ideas about how to get there.
Yeah, different ways to get there. Yeah.
But other than that, we live here in this community. We're like one big family, and I wish. So I would like to see us get away from that and more just focused on each other more.
Right. Okay. That's the 5 questions I had, but now I'm going to give you the mic, and just what would you like to say out there that maybe you hadn't covered so far? What else would you like to say to the voters and the public?
Well, I think, I hear, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy this, but when people say, that they'll say, well, Nikia, he's a good guy. I like Nikia, he's a good guy. And I really do appreciate that, because, I strive to be a good guy. But, when it comes to a seat like the sheriff's seat, it takes more than that.
Right.
I really, I hope that people, when they go into this election cycle, they really take their time and look at their candidates and see, what they've done. And obviously, being a good guy is a very basic qualification, but that's not enough. I think the people want results, and the people deserve results. And I think if you look at the sheriff's office and some of the things that we've accomplished, especially here the past few years with our approach to the drug problem, and the decrease in crime that we've had here in Bedford County, I think those are positive results. And I feel like we've got a lot of momentum, and I don't want to lose that momentum. I want to build on that. There's still some things that need to be done. Obviously, we still got some challenges that we've got to face. So I just hope that I appreciate anybody that says I'm a good guy, but don't vote for me because I'm a good guy. Vote for me because I'll be a good sheriff. And so I just encourage you to get to know me and get to know every candidate as well as you possibly can.
All right. Thanks, Nikia, for sitting down with us and telling us your story. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll have another edition of Meet the Candidates real soon.